Hi everyone, Julia here, and today I have a fun fall card for you, and I'm combining two stamp sets that you can use all year round. One of them is autumn themed, I admit that. So the first one is of course the Ella and Friends, and the second one is the autumn stamp set by Hero Arts, and I'm also going to be using the Femme Frames by Mama Elephant. I'm starting out by stamping my elephant here on some piece of Copic-friendly cardstock that I've die cut with the smaller one of the Femme Frames. And I'm going to be coloring, oh no, before I start coloring, I'm actually going to stamp. And I'm using a whole bunch of nice fall colors, and I'm going to be stamping the little leaves and this nut here from the Hero Arts stamp set, and I'll be listing all the colors that I'm using for stamping in the video description below and on my blog. Now for the coloring, I'm using, you can see the colors that I'm using there, W9, W6, W4 and W0. And I am starting with my darkest color, the W9, and I'm basically just laying down the shadows there. And then I'm blending out with the W6. And you can see that the jumps from the W9 to the W6 and then again to the W4 and W0 are rather large. And sometimes it can be hard to blend those colors because there is, well, they're so far apart, you know, in terms of darkness and color intensity. And you will see here that by going over areas numerous times, over and over, and really driving the color in there, I can make that blend. You might want to have something underneath the piece that you're coloring because it will seep through unless you're using Simon Says heavy cardstock. You can see here that I'm also bringing in E40 to blend from W4 to W0. And basically all I'm doing here, you can see me, is working the color, sometimes even going tip to tip to make sure I can blend especially into the lighter colors. Here I'm laying down a coat of color, this is the W0, and then I'm coming in again with the E40, picking the color up from the tip of the W4, and then I'm just blending like my life depends on it. And you can see here at first it doesn't look really great, and thanks to the lighting here, it doesn't look as great as it looks in real life. But I'm really just working the colors here, and you can see that at first it didn't look like I would be able to blend this out nicely. But by just going over there and coming back in and layering layer after layer after layer, I'm actually able to blend this out rather nicely. While I was coloring, at first I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to look awful, I'm not going to be able to do this properly, and then it turned out rather nicely. Now I'm just going in with the darkest once again because I muted the darkest colors quite a bit, and I wanted to intensify the shadow, especially under Ella's ear, to give her more dimension, because the darker the shadows are and the lighter the highlights, the more dimension you will get. And you will see that I think it looks rather nice. I also added some dots with the same colors that I used to color the elephant, just to add a little bit more life to her. I'm not even sure if elephants have dots, but you know what? I decided my elephant would have dots, so here it is. Here I'm coloring in the little critters, and you can see that despite the fact that the areas are rather small, I'm using actually 4 colors for these critters. And again, this is because I personally like to have really dark shadows and really light highlights, because I believe that just helps to add dimension to critters or whatever else you're coloring. And that's why even in these super tiny areas, I'm working with relatively a lot of colors. And then I'm using the same colors on the, is it a hedgehog? I think it's a hedgehog. On the hedgehog and on the stones. I could have used different colors if I would have planned better, but in the end I was glad I didn't, because I didn't want to distract from the colors of the fall leaves there. You can see how I'm blending this out. And then I said, well, you know what, I think I have an N1, and if I have an N1, why not just use that for the highlights, to really make sure, and you can see that it really adds a lot. Now for my card base, I grabbed a background stamp by My Favorite Things. This is a gingham pattern, and I just love this pattern because depending on how you ink it up, you can use it for pretty much every type of card. I put my card base onto the stamp, and then got this really nice impression, and I used the larger one of the Femme Frame dies to die cut a piece of vellum so I could layer this all together then. While I was looking at this, I decided, that didn't really work for me. So I grabbed a gold gel pen and I just started to draw in some dots. You know, I love my dots. And I think they add so much to this card, like literally so much. It's so much more interesting, so much more lively with the dots. And after I'd finished the video, I actually even added some black dots in there as well, simply for contrast, which you will see in the still photos at the end. I added some Wink of Stella to the leaves, and then I'm putting glossy accents on the leaves here to give them some dimension and to make them shine and to make the colors more intense. You don't need to do that. It definitely takes a while to dry, about half an hour or so. But I just thought that would be nice, so that's what I did. And of course, I still need the sentiment. Should have done that before I did the glossy accents, and I'm stamping that on the inside of the card because I think it's just nice when somebody opens the card and then sees the sentiment. And then I'm using my golden gel pen to add some dots to the inside of the card around the sentiment. I'm not going around the entire sentiment, just adding some on the upper right and lower left, so it looks like the dots are like, you know, like a band dividing up the card. Just a few of these dots. It's really subtle, but in sunlight you can really see it sparkle. It's really nice. And of course then I had to add some golden dots to Ella as well. Not a lot, but just a few to tie it in. And of course it looks really fantastic against the dark colors that I used on her. And I think I added some little dots to the hedgehog and to the little bunny there as well, because, you know, why not? Why not have gold dots everywhere? They're lovely. And gold is a perfect fall color in my opinion. Here's a close-up of the leaves that I had covered with the glossy accents to trap the shimmer from the Wink of Stella as well. And it's a really nice erased effect you get here. And then here's the entire card. And you can see how the gold dots sparkle on Ella. And it really looks lovely in sunshine. When you look at it under sunlight, it really sparkles and shines. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you again soon. Thank you. Bye.